So what we're going over today is the most dominant position you can have in a mixed martial arts fight or self-defense if you need to keep somebody off of you. And what that position is what that gentleman's doing right there, and that's a knee on the belly. So we're gonna break down today what that actual technique is, how to drill it, and 3 different ways to drill it, 2 in which if you do not have a training partner, we're gonna show you how to do that on a heavy bag or on a medicine ball. Thank you, medicine ball. So you'll have a bunch of different options or 3 options to work off of, and you'll understand the premise behind it, whether it's for an MMA fight or if it's a self-defense situation, or possibly if you're law enforcement or security and you need to safely keep somebody secure and obtained, like down on the ground, to where you're not resting your shin or anything like that on their face or on their neck, because that causes a lot of problems, lawsuits, and everything that goes with that. So we're gonna break that down right now, and at the end of the video, if you have any questions, any comments, let us know. But in and of itself, here we go, we're gonna break it down right now. Okay, so the premise with the whole knee on the belly is to have complete dominance over opponent if you're fighting that way. But from here, I have chokes, I have arm bars, I have leg locks. There's a ton of submissions I can do from here. I can take the back. If he turns in, I have a head and arm. There's a lot of things you can do, and we'll hit that in another video. But in and of itself, we're just gonna teach you how to drill this today so you get real proficient at it. So ideally, if I'm side mount, cross-eyed, whatever you wanna call it from here, my hands are gonna come on push off on my opponent. When you go knee on the belly, I don't wanna push off on the mat. So from here, off my opponent, boom, boom, I pop up. Now, my knee is gonna go in the soft part of his stomach, right when your ribs end, right below that, the diaphragm. You wanna put your knee right in there. So when we're here wrestling and I pop up, a lot of times you'll get this noise out of your opponent. So, and there you go. Now, my foot is as far out, so it's very difficult, if not out of the question for him to grab it, but that's far enough to where I don't have to work it. So now I get 2 steps to go to the other side. Say if he starts turning into me or giving me problems, I'm just getting my knee on the belly, so I'm gonna go to the other side. 2 steps. 1, 2. Now my knee on the belly, the other side. I can, like I said, I can punch, I have arm bars, I have shoulder locks, I have leg locks, all sorts of stuff. But in and of itself, so here would be the drill. 2 steps. 1, 2. Bop, bop, bop. 1, 2, and essentially that's knee on the belly from there. Depending on how cool your training partner is, I mean, you can sit there and do that because it'll help you be able to actually hold the weight of your opponent if you have that happen to you. But it teaches you to get a good midsection to where you can deal with that kind of pain. So we're gonna show you some drills right now. JJ's been nice enough to help me break this down, and I can explain it as he's doing it. Again, if you got questions, comments at the end of it, let us know. Okay, so the bag we're using today is an Everlast heavy bag. So this one's the smaller of the 2. It doesn't matter, essentially it doesn't matter what side heavy bag you use. You can use like a boxing heavy bag, you can use a 6-foot tie bag, you can use, bye-bye girls, you can use a 5-foot tie bag. You'll get the hang of it. If you have an old one at the house, use it. They also have bags that are specifically made for this drill. So whatever you have, kind of use. I know because of COVID right now, bags are back ordered, so use what you got. Now, I've seen also people use pillows from their couch, so just be creative with the whole thing, but in and of itself. Now, as JJ's going here, imagine this would be your opponent's head right there. So just how in the previous video, you're going to step around. Now, if you notice the long leg steps around, and then as one knee exchanges, the other one goes down. One's gonna come up, one's gonna go down. And it's that smooth. Now, if you notice his footwork, he gets 2 steps, no more. 1, 2, and he's in the exact position he needs to. That leg's outside, it makes it very difficult for the bottom man, the opponent, to try to grab it. Now it goes again, 1, 2, that's money right there. Now, when I first started, when JJ first started, it doesn't look like this. It's not that easy when you first start. So if it takes 3, 4 steps to get to that position, that's totally okay. Now, if you notice, JJ's knee is, stay there please. JJ's knee from the top of the bag to where his knee is about a foot, okay? So you don't want to go too far down on the bag because then your leg won't clear the top of the bag. So all you need is about 10 inches, 12 inches at max to clear it. I mean, if you're a taller guy like 6'4", then you can obviously go further back. But for us average size guys, that's what you want right there. Now, if you notice, he's not, when he makes his transition, he's not using his hands on the bag. So if you do, that was perfect. See, that's textbook. If you need to, because to post on something, which most everybody does in the beginning, he's gonna push on the front, on the top part of the bag. Yeah, never behind you, always in front of you. There you go. So if that was your opponent, you'd be pushing off on their face, which is totally legal. As long as you don't put the fingers in the eye, you're good to go. So one more time, because it takes us 2 steps. Now, if he needs to balance himself, he can push off and hold on the bag right there. Do not put your hands on the floor, just put them on front of the bag. So that's the heavy bag we're using right now. Now, after you get a little bit more versed to it, I'm gonna give you a little bit more difficult of a drill to use, and that's the medicine ball. So we'll throw that one in right now. So this one takes a little bit more to get used to. So obviously that's a 10-pound medicine ball. The weight doesn't have too much to do with it. The heavier the ball, the easier it's going to be, okay? Now, sometimes it'll get away from you when you're making that transition, it will roll, which is a good thing in and of itself, because that's gonna be the equivalent to your opponent. He's probably not gonna lay there flat. He's probably going to move. But in and of itself, he's doing the exact same drill, one on the left, one on the right. And if you notice, he's not using his hands because he's obviously good enough to do it that he doesn't need it, and he's still taking the 2 steps. That's all you need right there, 2 steps, and he makes that transition. Now, if you want to get crazy, as he gets better at it, he can still throw the punches, so he can make transition, punch, punch. Make a transition, punch, punch. And that's more of an active drill that you can do on this. So if you have a training partner, you can do it with a training partner. If you have a heavy bag, you can do it on the heavy bag, and it doesn't matter size of the heavy bag. It can be the 50-pound, the 75-pound, the 100-pound, or the 150-pound. It doesn't matter. Or if you have a medicine ball. So that's 3 different things you can use for the drill. Now, if you have neither, if you're locked inside for COVID, you can use one of the pillows or whatever that you have on the couch pillow or whatever. Just be creative with it. So use what you got. Now, if you have questions, if you have comments about any of this going on, please don't hesitate to let us know, and we'll get it out and put another video out for you. But until then, for right now, if you didn't know,
now you know.